Everything in the agency game relates to skills, and it comes down to skills. In this video, I'm going to be teaching you my exact system that allowed me to go from 0 grand a month just around a year ago to now 40 grand a month with an agency. And the reason I was able to actually do this is this step-by-step framework that I'm going to be showing you in this video in order to improve your skills as fast as possible, therefore actually growing how much you make each month. This is my exact guide that I tell myself to watch and understand before doing anything regarding an agency. So first of all, we need a skill we're solving for. This is called systems thinking right here. So when you're starting off, you're probably cold calling, you're probably cold DMing, cold email, or anything like that to get your first few clients. This is how people start off. And in order to get good in the agency game, you need to get good at that firstly. I expect you're not going to spend thousands of dollars on paid ads off the bat. I expect you're not going to hire a team of cold callers. So you're going to be doing it. This is the crucial part, and you need to be doing it yourself until you're at 5, 10, 15 grand a month. Usually, until you're about 5 grand a month, you need to be doing everything yourself because you're building the skill, and this is exactly what I'm going to teach you. When you're building a skill, you need one primary method. You need to be outreaching with one primary method. So let's use the example of cold calls with this. What we would consider an input is a cold call. This is exactly what this would be right here. In order to get appointments, which is the output, we need to put in the inputs. Why am I telling you all this? This is the way to get better at skills. This is actually mapping this out in your head because you have to put in an input to get an output. And the crucial part about this is what we call feedback. Feedback is the number one thing that is going to improve a skill whatsoever. You see the famous speakers when they're on stage reviewing their footage from when they messed up in speaking arrangement, when they said something that they shouldn't have. They regret it and they research what they did exactly wrong to fix it. And by fixing it, you're getting better at the skill that you're doing. And this is the premise of any skill acquisition or building any skill whatsoever, is just learning from feedback. And the way we're going to do this, let's make a cold call example. You're going to make sure you are recording all of your calls. Same with sales calls. So whatever skill you're doing, you're going to go, okay, got it. So I did this much today. I'm going to take 30 minutes tonight and make sure I review the inputs I put in, because these inputs can be better. And I know they can be better. And by me getting better at a skill, that's going to mean that I need to keep refining what I do. I need to keep changing what I do until I actually get good at what I do. So learning from your feedback on whatever you're doing is going to build the skill the best possible way. And you're going to ask yourself, what's the most important thing I'm doing right now? What do I need to do that's going to move me forward? You probably know what it is, and it's probably going to do with advertising of some sort. You probably need to let more people know about your stuff, and that's pretty much what you need to do from 0 to 5 grand a month. If you're not 5 grand a month, Mike, you probably should go back just to letting people know about your stuff through a cold outreach method. Secondly, I'm going to teach you about the system I use with my team, and it's called More, Better, New. And with any form of advertising, this is exactly what I use. So more is straightforward. In order to get data on the feedback, like we talked about just now, on how to get better at something, we need to do a lot of it. And in order to actually make accurate judgments on the data, we need sufficient volume. If you don't know, if you do 30 cold calls and try to actually get KPIs or try to get metrics on 30 cold calls, that's just not enough. Your data is going to be skewed. You're not going to do a good job whatsoever. You need to do a good amount of reps in that specific thing. And usually the KPIs I tell people is at least 30 sales calls. For sales calls, you can test offers, you can test your script. That's a really good benchmark. With cold calls, it's going to be anywhere from 500 to 1,000. Don't do a script for 50 calls and change it and see that data. 50 calls, that day could have been a holiday. That day you would have called at the wrong time. There's so many variables influencing that outcome. That's why with scientific thinking, you need to do 500 to 1,000 calls spread out through many days, consistent each day. And then you draw the feedback from that. You now get the data on how you performed and you learn from it. The next thing is you're just going to make that better. So you get feedback. I'll write this down. And then you learn from that feedback and notice your mistakes. It's going to be, I'm not using the right tonality. I'm not using this proper script. They're usually giving me this objection in the cold call. So I need to optimize my script to pre-handle that objection before it comes up. That's going to increase my conversion rate. This is all from feedback. So now you have a refined skill. So you are getting better. And this could be with types of content. With this video right now, I might be testing a new video idea to see if you like it. I might be trying to make a beginner video for you guys to see if you like it. I might repeat the other videos I've done and just try to make them better. This is the same thing for any type of content, for any type of cold outreach, for any skill you're trying to build, any new domain. This is exactly what you use. Do a lot of it. You take the top 10% of what you did and see, what did I do there? Then you go, well, that 10% did better. I'm going to do all of that 10% from now on and just do that. And I'm going to keep iterating on this right here. So we have more, then better, then we're going to go back to more. And we're going to repeat this cycle of getting better from the volume that we're doing, which is more, and just building that skill until eventually you're at this loss where you're like, I can't make this better. Which is going to take you time. I think a lot of you, if you're at this stage, you just really haven't made it good enough yet. That's a lot of people's stage. And you need to humbly admit to yourself, I probably just need to get knowledge in this area to see what I'm lacking on. That's most people's scenario. But there is a case where you've repeated this cycle over and over and over and over to the point where you think you can do something else. And now this means that you're going to do what we call new. New is that you're going to change the script to a completely new script. You're going to test a new line in the script. Instead of iterating on the last script that you had, instead of trying to make it better, you test a brand new idea. If you're running some advertising, you might split the ad cost 50% of what you're doing and 50% into testing and seeing, hey, look, I'm going to test 5 or 6 ad sets to see if this one's going to do better, but it's a new idea. I've already iterated on my one that I was running before a few times, making it better and better and better. I don't know how to make it better. Let's try a new one. Content. I uploaded a video on the whiteboard 10 times. I can't make it any better. I don't know how to make it more engaging. I don't know how to make it any better. I need to try a face video of me in a car to see if they like the car style better. That's new. It's a different environment. It's a different type of video. These are just examples, but repeating more than better. And then once you can't make it better, you do new. That's a cycle I use. I can tell you, if you're watching this video and you're not at 5, 10 grand a month, you probably are at the more stage and you need to just do more. If you're a beginner and you're not doing 200 cold calls a day, at minimum, to your niche, using a power dialer and taking 2 hours of your day to do it, you probably aren't doing enough. You're probably not on the better stage and you're probably not on the new stage. If you're not doing that, you probably just should be optimizing on volume, and then once you have the volume in place, you're going to learn from it and get it better. That's all you have to do. And for every skill you have, you're going to use something like this sheet right here. If you don't have the sheets in my community, it's for free in the description. You get that. But you need to be tracking the metrics on whatever you're doing. And a lot of the times we're flawed in our perception because we're humans. We have our biases and perceptions. We think something's good until you really test it and see how the market thinks of it. Then you think it's bad because they think it's bad. You need to measure objectively if something is working or not. And the only way to do that is with objective numbers, measuring how you're doing. As an example, with cold calls, you're going to measure how many calls you did, how many pickups you got, how many decision makers you pitched, resonations, then finally calls booked and sales calls done. If you're not measuring all of that with something with a skill, and you're not getting feedback on it, and you're not testing 500 to 1,000 calls and seeing how a new script does, or you're refining the script you have, if you're not doing any of this, how the hell are you going to know if you're getting better? The only way to know you're getting better, or at least the best way I know of, is just tracking it precisely. I have a sales tracker, the same thing I just gave you right here, but it's for sales. For each sales rep in my team. For us, I have a metric going on conversion rates from leads to KPIs to follow-up, resonation rate. Everything, every single thing in my team has a metric. And there's a quote that I love. I think it's by Hermosi. So you can see someone's skill in a field by the quantity and quality of the metrics they track. And this means if you ask a sales manager, let's say, how are you going to bring up the close rate of our team? Oh, no, I'll do it. That's not an answer. It's not an answer at all. I'm going to do 2x weekly calls, getting your sales reps percentage from 10 to 15%. We're going to increase the follow-up rate after a closed deal. We're going to increase the show-up rate from a deposit to a follow-up call. If they give you all these metrics off the top of their head and they know what they can do to get this number higher, that's a really good guy. They know their stuff. They've been in sales. The answer, which is I'm just going to get better, is not sufficient. And that answer for you and your business isn't sufficient either. And if you want to be skilled in something, you need to know the metrics to track and how they contribute to the skill. You need to use the more, better, new formula in order to get those skills where you want to be. So if you enjoyed this video, please subscribe and like. I really appreciate it. And thank you guys for watching. I'll see you later. Goodbye.